Liam lived his life on the edge of the sky. As a young, ambitious architect, his dreams weren't just drawn on paper, they were etched into the city's skyline. He saw the world in lines, angles, and possibilities, a grand design waiting to be built. His latest project was his masterpiece, a skyscraper that kissed the clouds, a testament to his relentless drive. But life has its own blueprints, and sometimes they include a sudden, brutal redesign. One rainy afternoon, a moment of slick steel and a loss of balance sent his world tumbling. The city he loved to build spun into a blur, and then darkness. He woke up to the sterile white of a hospital room, the scent of antiseptic, and a silence that was heavier than any physical weight. The doctor's words were gentle but absolute, like a final verdict. "The damage to your spine is severe," he explained. "You'll likely never walk again." The words echoed in the silence, dismantling his future, brick by painful brick. The man who built towers was now confined to a bed, his body a prison. Days bled into weeks. Every reflection showed a stranger, a man hollowed out by despair, his fire extinguished. The blueprints on his nightstand were a cruel joke. This was his new reality. For walls, a window, and a horizon that felt forever out of reach. This was rock bottom. But in that abyss of despair, a single, stubborn thought flickered, a tiny ember in the ashes of his former self. An architect doesn't abandon a project just because the foundation shifts. The first step wasn't with his legs, but with his will. He agreed to physical therapy. His new guide was a woman named Maya, a therapist whose spirit was as unyielding as the steel he once climbed. She saw past the broken body to the builder inside. The gym became his new construction site, his own body the project. The work was grueling, a symphony of grunts, shaking muscles, and the constant, roaring frustration of a mind that could soar while the body remained grounded. Every millimeter of movement was a victory. Days turned into a new routine of pain, effort, and microscopic progress. There were moments he wanted to give up, to surrender to the silence of his room. But then he would see Maya's encouraging nod, or catch a glimpse of the skyline he still loved. Then, one day, supported by parallel bars, his arms trembling, he pushed. It was clumsy, agonizing, and lasted only a few seconds, but it was a tower of hope. He was no longer just the man who fell. He was the man who was learning to rise. Back in his room, he picked up his old blueprints. He didn't see a lost dream. He saw a new problem to solve, a new design challenge. He started sketching, not a skyscraper, but a world that was accessible, a world built for everyone, including him. The blueprint wasn't just about buildings anymore. It was about rebuilding lives, starting with his own. Liam's pencil moved with a new purpose. He wasn't just designing structures, he was designing dignity. He created buildings where ramps flowed like gentle rivers, where doorways opened with a welcoming width, and where every level was a possibility, not a barrier. He took his designs to his old firm. At first, they saw limitations. His passion was infectious, his logic undeniable. His first accessible building wasn't a compromise. It was a revolution in design, praised for its beauty and its heart. Years passed. The man who was told he'd never walk again now stood on his own terms, his crutches as much a part of his new identity as his vision. He stood before his greatest creation yet, not the tallest building, but the most open one. He saw a child in a wheelchair navigate the space with a joyful laugh, and he knew. He hadn't just recovered, he had been reborn. His fall from the sky had, in the end, taught him how to give the world a better foundation.